phenomenal game by Mana. The Dark Templar play, the fact that he was able to kill off the lair, very smart thinking, and then just played so straightforward for the remainder of the game.
Yeah, I mean, he hardly made any mistakes, but I think the biggest problem is that Morrow was making mistakes left and right, even though he had a couple of nice moves, especially with the burrowed roaches at the back of the natural, doing a lot of damage to the probes. The thing was, he shouldn't have engaged where he did, because it was such a narrow choke as well next to that tower, especially with the force fields cutting them in half, lost the majority of his roaches, and then Mana was just like, oh, you don't have any units left.
Yeah, I mean, that's the real danger with roaches, is that they're so good in the mid-game. They're that unit. They're versatile. They're fast. They can pick off outlying units. They can do harassment with the burrow and the unburrow micro, but it's a little dangerous to continue making roaches, because if you have a 200 food army that's only roaches, then force field, immortal, stalkers, all of them do so great against you.
It was pretty smart from Mana actually to include immortals. A lot of players, when they do get the double robo, they just like to pump out a ton of Colossus, thinking that they're the ones that do all the splash damage. They're going to do a lot of critical damage to all of his units, but no, he only started building them from one, and the other one was for pure immortals, knowing that all Morrow was building were roaches.
So we're just getting information on what the second map will be. It is Lost Temple, and I am pretty certain that that was Mana's choice of map. That is a great map for Terran against Protoss, or excuse me, for Protoss against Zerg. I keep forgetting that Morrow's playing Zerg. It's a great map for Protoss against Zerg because of the fact that it's so easy to take your second base.
Yeah, and Morrow could be in a lot of trouble here. It depends if Mana decides to go for some kind of build again. I don't know if he'll go for the Forge build, as that didn't work out too well for him, obviously having to continue to play that game, being in a losing position, but he did come back, and that shows us that Mana is a very good player who can come back from situations like that. Morrow obviously being clearly in front at the start of that game, having to still lose it shows that if it starts off like an equal pace game, that Mana can surely take out Morrow.
Yeah, you know, and that's a really shining example of, you know, how to just stay solid and stay focused, because it's so easy in that moment to think, oh yeah, if they had to do a regame because of the crash, and if Mana won, it wouldn't have been a real win. But that really proved that Mana knows exactly what he's doing.
This is quite interesting. Morrow's switched his he actually was Zerg when he moved into the game, and he's changed his race to Terran.
Wow, yeah, because again, he was listed as Terran and Zerg entering this tournament, so there is still the potential that he could be doing a little bit of a change-a-roo at the last second again.
And here we are, we're going to get this underway. I think Morrow's ready. He changed back to Zerg. He's going to stick with Zerg throughout the tournament. And both are ready. Mana is ready, and Morrow is ready. Let's go.
Fantastic. All right, it's game two, the real game two. No replays being casted here between MouzMorrow and MouzMana. Give a cheer for both of them at the same time.
And as you were saying, this is probably Mana's map on Lost Temple. And it could be pretty hard for Morrow to play against Mana here. And look at the spawning positions also. Morrow is going to find out where he is directly by sending this Overlord here.
And it looks like Mana is spawning in the right position as the blue Protoss. In the top, we have Morrow as the red Zerg. And I mean, really, Morrow is just going to be pretty comfortable in these spots. I mean, you have the easy Mutalisk harassment. Most of your expansions are far away from your opponent. A lot of easy time and easy room to be able to just get up into the late game.
And Mana not opting to send the probe towards the back of the base before building the pylon, so we can see if the Overlord isn't... Oh, actually, he is going to do it. Is he going to see it? Yeah, he does see the Overlord. Nice play by Mana. Knows exactly what's going on. And this is the kind of decisions now he needs to start to make. Is he going to go for that Forge again without cancelling the Gateway? Because it was a little bit delayed because he did go for the Gateway and the cancel. He might just opt to go straight for the Gateway, as it didn't really work out for him last game.
Yeah, now looking back in Morrow's base, very curious to see if he's going to do that gas pool build. Interestingly enough, it didn't work out for him so well in the previous game. I mean, it's often kind of funny that if your opponent does some huge botch like cannon rushes and then it fails miserably, that you can actually be so not used to that lead that you end up making mistakes in that position. But it looks like Morrow going ahead and going for the fast extractor. We do see that Mana is continuing to scout with his probe, and might be doing a 14 Nexus play.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to park on the ramp, maybe waiting for the necessary minerals. I don't know what he's doing here. It should be interesting. It looks like, yeah, he is going to go for the early Nexus, and MouzMorrow has gone for gas pool. Gas looked about 14 pool as well. Should be interesting to see what MouzMorrow will do here.
Yeah, it looks like MouzMorrow has a couple of options at this point. He can do the usual speed Zergling pressure. He could do something a little bit more aggressive, like try to throw down a Roach Warren and press, or might even just go for a Baneling bust. The real danger in this situation is the fact that this pylon is on the high ground. Very difficult to both get the forge and then build cannons at the front at the same time, but Mana is going to be cutting probes or not. Wow, actually that's a pretty bold play not to be cutting probes, because look at this, the pool is done, and there's not even a pylon finished at the front.
And now, yeah, two Lings are in production. We'll just have to see if he builds another set of Lings or a drone. I suspect he will go for another. No, he's actually going to go for a drone instead of another set of Lings. So it looks like Mana will be fine and able to deal with this. The thing I'm kind of contemplating is what will MouzMorrow do to counteract this. The hatchery, is going to be delayed until these Lings get rid of this probe, but he might actually go. He's actually stopped mining gas. That kind of tells me something, that he doesn't really want to go for speedlings, he doesn't want to go for banelings, he doesn't want to go for a fast layer at all, he's just going to go straight for pure minerals. Yeah,
I mean, there's still a lot of options that MouzMorrow can do, still can transition to some sort of all-in-ish style if he wants to, but Mana having some very nice placement here with the cannons and the gateway forming a nice, tight, solid wall. In the meantime, no gas has been thrown down yet. The expansion is up and running, and this is exactly why Protoss is like this map. Even with this slightly awkward initial pylon, this early expo is so easy to establish.
It wouldn't surprise me, actually, if MouzMorrow decided to take a third. I mean, he's still not mining any gas. He's getting a second queen. He has so many minerals queued up. All he is making now are just drones and another set of Lings, actually. Taking a third wouldn't be a bad idea against a Protoss, because the Protoss play obviously on the back foot in terms of going out. It doesn't want to look out. He's only just got the gateway up now, has cannons, might even be throwing down a third cannon. No, it's a cybernetics core. But, I mean, MouzMorrow now going for gas. Is he going to get speed or a lair next, though? That's what we've got to see.
Now, the big thing that I'm curious about for Mana is whether he's going to be getting these extra gases, and he answered that question for me right away by taking the third one. But a lot of times players will just get 2 or 3 gas geysers and just sprint to the mass cybernetics core unit production. Mass Stalker, Mass Zealot, Mass Sentry, doing as much early attacking as possible. We haven't really seen a tech choice from MouzMorrow yet. He's getting yet more queens. No layer, no speed, no nothing. It looks like there's an evolution chamber going down and another expansion going down, but that's going to be very vulnerable to 6 warp gate pushes.
Yeah, it will be. We have 2 gateways now. I'm like 1, 2, oh 2. Trying to count gateways is like so difficult at this time of night. Do you reckon he will go for the 6 gateways?
You know, I wouldn't be surprised.
He's going for a Stargate,
but it looks like, yeah, he is going to be going for the Stargate, so I think that's definitely going to be throwing his opponent off a little bit. Almost always you expect big warp gate plays. That's almost always what you even want to do, and it's still hard for Zerg to stop, but as we see, oh no, MouzMorrow is clearly gearing up to go Hydra Roach. Only anti-air he has, though, is these queens, so enough Void Rays getting thrown up could be doing a lot of damage. Double Stargate from Mana. How unusual.
This is quite unusual. I don't think he's expecting MouzMorrow to go for a Hydra Den. Obviously, he still hasn't even got a layer up yet. So if he does start chrono boosting, he's actually chrono boosting out a Phoenix. So we're going to see 2 Stargate Phoenixes, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, now this can actually work quite effectively. Players have been having huge troubles with Zergs who go Mass Mutalisk. It is one of the most difficult styles to stop on this map, so a lot of Protosses have combated it by just straight up getting 2 Stargate Phoenix. If they're against not Mutalisks, then they just run around once they have 4 or 5 Phoenixes and end up killing off plenty of queens, plenty of drones, but if they are against Mutalisks, they have a very easy way to deal with it.
And 2 Void Rays are now being chrono boosted out, and the layer is only halfway from being done, and then he also has to go for the Hydra Den. He could be in a lot of trouble. There are no Spore Crawls anywhere because he's not really expecting this type of play. The Overlord on position next to the natural, he sees another gateway going down. So I guess what's going through MouzMorrow's head is that, I just guess you're going to go for the 6 gateway build, but no, that's not what's going to happen.
And it looks like lots of different kinds of air units coming out for Mana. There's the Void Ray, just doing a little bit of zapping action, and there is the Queen trying to pick this off, but oh, getting lifted up in the air, and the Void Ray already starting to charge. The second one is coming to join, and it looks like this Void Ray is going to be taking a good bit of damage, but there it is, fully charged. Now that there are 2 Queens out on the field, that Queen will fall. A couple of roaches pop out, but it's 2 fully charged Void Rays, and the second lift by Mana.
The Spore Crawlers have finished, though, on the main and natural. He's going to go straight for the lair once again with these Void Rays. Any Queens that do pop out, he can just lift them up. We don't have a Hydra Den at all anywhere.